Hello again, my name is John and welcome to the Park of Movies. If you're watching me for the first time, I hope you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's start. Today's film begins in the woods where the cubs are with their mother, and they were hunters who wanted to catch them in order to take them to the circus. We see that the mother escaped in order to distract the fishermen and protect her cubs, but they could take the cub, and they put it in a box, and then got on the plane and went. At the same time we see a girl named Alma playing piano at school in preparation for the music competition. In training, unfortunately, she got the news of her grandfather's death. She was deeply saddened by her grandfather's death, and traveled directly to his private island, and there she was received by her grandfather's friend Joe, and told her that the island was now her own because she was the sole heir to grandfather. Then she went straight to her grandfather's house and started walking around it. She saw drawings of a wolf female hanging on the wall, and then Joe gave her her game that she was playing with when she was young, and also gave her a video that grandfather recorded for her before he died. Joe hugged Alma and told her to ask him whatever she wanted, like her grandfather was here. Now we move to the cub that was locked in the box. He didn't find any way to escape, and there was a very strong storm where the pilot lost control of the plane. At this time, Alma heard a very strong voice, but she didn't know where it came from. She wanted to go out and check it out, but she couldn't because it was windy, so she walked back into the house. She sat watching the video that her grandfather left her, he reminding her of her childhood because he raised her after her father and mother died, and he asked her to take care of the wolf female who always came in front of his house to feed her. And at last, he recommended that she take care of herself, and he tell her that he loved her so much. The next day, the female wolf fell into a network set up by Ivan and Charles. They are scientists whose mission was to return the animals to their native habitat. Fortunately, the wolf female could tear the net apart. At the same time Alma came out of the house, and she was wearing her grandfather's coat, in his pocket a knife. Now we go back to the cub. He could get out of the box after the plane crashed during the storm, and then fell over a bird's nest and slept there. Alma found a female wolf, and she knew her. She took off her grandfather's coat and gave it to her to smell the grandfather and reassure, after which Alma cut off part of the net that was stuck on the female wolf, and let her run free in the woods. When the wolf female was walking around the woods, Ivan and Charles saw her and liked her so much, and they rejoiced that they were going to get a white wolf female and a rare, but they couldn't reach her. They tried to catch her, so Alma blocked them and angrily told them that this island was a private property. Ivan told her he was a scientist, not a hunter, and told her he wanted to bring the wolf female back to her native country, but Alma didn't believe them, and she kicked them out. A little later she passed the place of the plane that crashed, and here the cub fell from the bird's nest. At first she freaked out, but then she hugged him and took him home with her. As soon as Alma arrived home, she was surprised that the female wolf had entered while carrying her son, and then hid under the desk. She was looking at Alma like she was asking her to protect her son. Alma understood that the female wolf felt safe with her, and that she was afraid for her son after the one that had happened. Alma tried to call her grandfather's boyfriend Joe, but there was no network, and after a little while, Joe came to visit her and told her the network is only on the side of the lake, and then he gave her a radio to communicate between them. Then Alma brought him in, and she showed him the animals and told him everything that had happened. Joe told her she had to call the officials to act and take the animals where they had to be, and then he left. Once Joe left, the police came and asked Alma if she saw a cub in the area. They would take him to the circus. Alma was confused when she heard the word circus, and told them she hadn't seen him, and if she saw him, she would definitely call them. Then the police left. Then Alma came home, and she was a wolf female feeding her baby, and strange that the cub was also breastfeeding the wolf female breast. Alma was very happy because the wolf and lion merged with each other and became her friends. One day, Alma was reading an article about animal abuse in the circus, and she decided to keep the cub and not hand it over to them. The days passed, and the mother Lupus cared about her son and his friend. Every day passed. Their relationship with each other was more loving than the day before, as they were also related to Alma. They liked playing her and always went out for a walk, and they went to the cottage that Alma's grandfather built under the big tree, so they also slept with her in the same bed. One day, Alma told the female wolf that she would travel and return in 2 days. She left her food, her children's food, and everything she needed. She even left the window open if any of them wanted to go in or out. When it was time, Alma said goodbye to them, and she then traveled for her music competition. During Lisa's absence, the wolf female cared for the animals and fed them, and one day the wolf female went to the forest for hunting and was seen by scientists Ivan and Charles. They drugged her with a gun and unfortunately succeeded in getting her and taking her. And this time, Alma won in the music competition. She came home and was shocked when she found him upside down. She then searched for the wolf female, but found no trace of her. Alma had to take care of the animals and feed them, and then she took them to sleep where they were, but the animals didn't agree and went up to sleep with her in her room because they missed her so so much. When she woke up in the morning, she gave them breakfast, and then her grandfather's boyfriend Joe came in and was shocked when he saw her still keeping animals. But he didn't come for this, but came to see the outcome of the contest, and Lisa told him she had won, but she couldn't stay there and leave her animals, because she's becoming more associated with them. Alma became very happy, especially when she sees that cub and wolf, strictly friends, never leave each other. Anything the wolf does it, the lion imitates it, and vice versa. One day in Pal Alma she came to name them. At the time, the wolf was ripping Mozart's musical notes, and Alma decided to give him that name. The name of the wolf is now Mozart. As for the lion, she gave him the name Dreamer. And then Alma sees Mozart playing the piano. She understands that he wants to hear the music. Alma can't refuse to ask for her animals. She played for him, and he kept ripping up the papers. Months later, Alma lived happily with her animals, hanging a sign saying there was a dog guarding the house in order for no one to approach her home and see her animals. When he tells the police, Alma is sure to lose her friends. Even her grandfather's friend told her that he would never visit her again at home and would check her condition by wireless, because her animals didn't like to see anyone next to her. In other words, they're jealous of it. Actually, Joe would talk to her every day and check on her and Dreamer and Mozart, who grew up and became inseparable. One day Alma came out looking for her animals, because the lunch date had come. Suddenly she saw a boat carrying a mother with her daughter who stopped to pick some roses out of the woods, and then she watched Mozart and Dreamer run towards them, so she went quickly to stop them, but unfortunately she fell to the ground and hit her head in a rock, causing her to lose consciousness. Mozart saw her and tried to wake her up, but to no avail, and then Dreamer came, and they sat down to protect her. At this time Joe was trying to call her, but Alma wasn't responding to his calls, which made him worry about her. He went home and didn't find her either. He got on the boat looking for her, and luckily Mozart saw him, and he howled calling for him to save Alma. Joe heard them and saw them, but he didn't come close, because he was afraid of them, so he decided to call the police. Lisa was rushed to hospital, and doctors said she had a concussion. For the animals, Ivan received Mozart and he was taken to the animal shelter. He was very happy that he got it. For Dreamer, Larry the circus owner came with his son to pick it up. He tried to calm him down by music, and then took him to the circus. Ivan took the wolf to the animal sanctuary, and was surprised when he found the female wolf there, and knew it was his mother. 2 days later Alma woke up from her coma and asked her grandfather's boyfriend Joe about her animals, apologized to her, and tell her that he had to be drugged by the officials in order to save you, and then they took them after, causing Alma to be deeply affected and grieved. At the circus, Larry told his son they had to sedate the lion with a syringe in order to remove his claws tomorrow. He also told him they had to beat the lion in order to scare him, but the son never liked his father's treatment of the lion, and when Alma was discharged, she went straight to the animal center. She asked them about her animals, but they didn't tell her anything. She remembered that the world Devin left her his phone number. She called him. He told her that the wolf was fine, and that he was very happy here in the animal sanctuary, and then she closed the call after he reassured her hard on Mozart. She wanted to check on Dreamer too, so she searched for him on every nearby circus, but found no trace of him. I want to tell you, dear viewer, that the circus in which the lion is located moves from one place to another. One day the circus passed on the road of the animal reserve where Mozart is located. Mozart smelled his friend and dug a hole under the fence, and then went where his friend was. Ivan was shocked by the thing the wolf did, and understood as a genius wolf. Anyway, Mozart arrived to the cage where the lion was, tried to open it in order to save his friend, but he couldn't, and then Ivan called Alma and told her that Mozart had fled to look for her. But Alma told him that the wolf was looking for his lion friend. Ivan felt that she was crazy, because it wasn't reasonable for the wolf to understand a lion, and then closed the lion in her face. And by the time Larry was opening Dreamer's cage, Mozart was watching the situation and witnessed it. Mozart attacked Larry and smuggled his friend Dreamer. Friends met again and hugged each other like they had done from a young age. Here Larry took his gun and took his son with him to look for the lion. When Charles knew what happened, he called his friend Ivan and told him. Ivan was surprised and couldn't believe that Alma's speech was true. He took a plane and went straight to Ulma Island, apologized to her and told her that Mozart had escaped with the lion, and that he wanted to return it to the animal reserve. But Alma gets angry with him because he wants to break them up again. Ivan tells her he'll find him alone, and then he's gone. The plane took off before Ivan arrived and had to use Alma's boat. Unfortunately, the gasoline ended. He had to go back to Alma, who was enjoying his funny view. Then she showed him the pictures of Mozart and Dreamer, and she told him that their relationship was strong and impossible to leave each other. Ivan told her he believed her, and then told her that Mozart was now wearing a collar with a tracking device, and we could find him through it. Then they watched through the tracker that Mozart and Dreamer were now on their way to the island. Now we move to Mozart and Dreamer. They're hungry and they go into a store and they eat everything they found. Unfortunately, the security guards saw them and immediately informed the police. brothers, Mozart and Dreamer. They were running down the streets, and they have sparked terror in people's hearts. The day after, Lisa introduced Ivan to her grandfather's boyfriend Joe, and then they went looking for animals. They heard from the car radio that the police were warning people not to get out of their homes because they were now looking for a wolf and a lion on the run. The police started searching everywhere in the woods. The first one who found Mozart and Dreamer was Larry, lifting his gun and aiming at Dreamer to sedate him. But Mozart protected his friend and got a drug injection. Larry ordered his son to take the cordon from the wolf's neck in order for no one to know where they were. The son did what his father asked him to do, and then they went. Dreamer went back to Mozart's place and stayed with him until he got up. The tracker took Alma and Ivan to the cordon place where Larry and his son are. They asked Larry about the wolf, but he told them he knew nothing about it. And here the kid pulled the cordon out of his pocket, and Larry told them that his son found that cordon on the street. Ivan and Alma came out for no good, but Larry's son went after them and told them he knew where the animals were. So they took him with them. They got in the car and went into the woods, but they didn't find Dreamer and Mozart. And then they got in the car again and kept searching until they found Dreamer. Alma got out of the car and asked him about Mozart. Dreamer looked at her, and then he started walking, and Alma followed him until they got to the cottage that Alma's grandfather built next to the giant tree. When Alma walked in, she found Mozart and hugged him. She was very happy and returned to Evan to tell him that she found Mozart. But at this time Larry came with his gun and told them that he wanted the lion. The son told his father he hated his treatment of animals and cruelty to them. He also told him, if you took the lion, forget that you had a son. Larry was moved by his son's speech and heard him, and then took him and went. By this time the police got to the place. Alma went on foot and told Evan to go to Joe and ask him where the tree cottage was. The police arrived at the cottage, but at this time Alma had taken her animals and hid inside a tunnel until she reached the lake. Alma told the animals they had to get inside the water and swim in order to get to the other bank quickly. But Dreamer was afraid and unhappy, left Alma and Mozart and went alone. They come down to the water and Alma was very sad for Dreamer. She arrived home with tears filling her eyes. Joe, grandfather's friend, and Evan saw her sad. Mozart was waiting for his friend Dreamer, but Alma told him that Dreamer would never come again. But suddenly Alma heard the sound of feet and got the opposite of what she said. Dreamer was came, and everyone's joy in coming. Mozart went to his friend and hugged him with joy. Then they remembered their journey with some of the first day they got to know some to the point of growing up. As for Evan, he understood that Dreamer and Mozart's relationship was eternal, and nobody could separate them from each other. And here's my friends, we got to the end of this video. I hope you like it. We meet in upcoming videos. Bye bye.